Okay. All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome into a Week 17 edition of the SIN Sunday Sideline Report. I am Mike Rifkin, joined today by Mark Goldobsky Halpert and the president, Lawrence Patchman. Gentlemen, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
To all of our listeners, Happy New Year. We're going to talk a lot about the playoff scenarios. Yeah, we're going to talk a lot about the playoff scenarios because there's 2 weeks left in the regular season, so we're going to have some fun with that later. We're going to start with some sad news. Earlier this week, Hall of Fame coach John Madden died at the age of 85 in his home in California. Before we dive into the aspects of John Madden, did you guys watch the documentary on Christmas Day?
I did. I'm halfway through it.
Okay. If you have not watched it, I think it's on Peacock and other services. Watch it. It's phenomenal. But John Madden at the age of 85, and he was a guy who we talk a lot about revolutionaries of the world, but John Madden brings football in a different light because even if you didn't know who he was, you would know the name because of the Madden video game. But to me, he was the best football color man I've ever heard. And my lifetime, he was the best football color man. So I will let you guys go off now on the history and the impact that John Madden had in the NFL.
John Madden was one of those coaches that wasn't originally meant to be a coach. He started out as a tackle, blew out his knee, but he met a very famous owner in Al Davis who turned him on to coaching, started out as a linebackers coach, and then ended up as the head coach of the Oakland Raiders, taking him to the Super Bowl. And he had players on his team that nobody wanted. And he got the most out of them. The difference between him now and coaches today is he had class and he had finesse. He knew how to read a team that was on the field and know what to expect they were going to be doing. He was a different breed of coach. When it comes to the Madden football game, when it came out in 1992, I believe it was the game of games to have because games before then didn't have a title. I mean, there was Tecmo Bowl, there was the Atari version of X's and O's. There was no real cohesive football game until Madden came along. And then you see where it's been coming through until now. When Madden died, unfortunately, I felt a little piece of my childhood go as well. Patchy?
So I don't know if we've lost Patchy for a second or not, but I'll go back to you for this, Mark. We talked about this on Wishbone the other night. There's not a single individual that is more deserving of being on the cover of Madden next year than John Madden himself. So EA, if you're listening, and I know you are, put John Madden back on the cover of his game next year.
Absolutely.
Indeed.
Patch, I think you got a little frozen there for a second.
Yeah. You know, I the first time I'm back in a long time on this show, and of course my internet has to be unstable.
Right.
But
so I passed it to you. Your thoughts on John Madden and everything.
You know, we look at John Madden as probably I would probably say the second greatest known figure in football because, you know, of the Madden game. We just know who Madden is, whether it was from him being with the Raiders, him doing color commentating, the commercials he did, and all the others, and all the other gags that, like how Family Guy made fun of him. He did commentating to a wedding, and then, of course, his fascination with Brett Favre. So, he goes, "Who had a great wedding? Brett Favre." And it's sad because eventually everyone's going to pass away, but I think no one was ready for Madden to pass away.
No.
Unfortunately, it's constantly another person we're going to talk about. It's like the end of on December 31st, the breaking news: Betty White passes away, and everyone's, "Oh, it's just a gag," and then no, it's reality, and then you're like, WTF? So it's a sad day for football, but it also should now be a celebration of Madden, where we should celebrate the life of John Madden instead of feeling all sorry for ourselves, because Madden wouldn't want us to feel sorry for ourselves. He would want us to celebrate his life and continue to watch football and even teach the new generation football, whether it's watching it, having them play football, having them play Madden. So Madden would want that, because he loved football and he wanted everyone to love football. And he found a way to teach people how to love football. And yes, put him back on Madden for next year.
So the NFL will hold a moment of silence before all of the games today to honor the memory of John Madden. I wish there was a little bit more they can do. I don't know, maybe have the name John Madden written in one of the end zones or at midfield.
Supposedly, Oakland will be wearing decals on their helmet to represent him. No word on any other team.
If you can't hear people, Mark has his lovely children running around, so it's
sorry
cute.
about that.
No, don't be sorry.
Don't be sorry. They're kids.
Kids are kids. We love them.
But I just, the impact he had on the league as a whole, it's just a moment of silence. I don't think does it justice, but it's what you're working with. But we'll wait and see. The Raiders apparently will wear decals on their helmets, and to the friends and family of John Madden, our thoughts and prayers are with you. I think the saddest part about it is the documentary just came out, and then it just boom. And not to equivalent this to wrestling, but Patch, the Ultimate Warrior in WWE, goes into the Hall of Fame, has a speech on Raw, and then passes away the next day. It's almost as if they know it's coming, and it just
it's just one of those weird anomalies where the stars align and something in the great unknown that we don't know where is aligns the stars, and then it's like, boom, documentary, fantastic masterpiece, and the next day that person passes away. Ultimate Warrior finally comes back into the WWE after years of I would say exile because of a fallout with the company. He comes back, has his induction, comes out on Monday Night Raw, gives his speech, and then boom, next day it's like he's gone. It's definitely like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah. So, all right. So, John Madden was unfortunately not the only passing of the week. Former Falcons and Broncos head coach Dan Reeves died at the age of 77. And as Patch alluded to before, Betty White at 99. And no, it wasn't a football. It's not a football related individual, but Betty White and John Madden were kind of the same in the sense of American treasures.
Yeah.
And you grew up knowing who they were, watching them. Like, I can't speak for Mark or Patch, but I have two older sisters, and they love Golden Girls.
I watch with my grandma all the time.
Yeah, my sisters loved Golden Girls. And then, Betty White has cameos and other things. And it just hits you really hard because you feel like these people are your family.
And as you said, Mike, Betty White did have something with the NFL. She took a tackle in mud and dirt because she forgot to have her stickers marked.
And the best line was when they were saying she plays like Betty White. You're playing like Betty White, and then she goes, "That's not what your girlfriend said."
She was a class act, and she'd be very, very missed.
Yeah,
I just like to count in that if you count in the leap year, she actually is 100. I'm just gonna say that. If you count in the leap year, she did make it to 100. So I saw that post on Facebook. So I'm reiterating.
Betty, from the NFL community, we will all miss you.
Yeah.
Thank you for being a friend and a grandma to us.
Yes.
Everybody's grandma.
All right. Also,
now to the task at hand.
Well, I do want to give a couple of seconds to Dan Reeves as well. Very good coach. I don't think he's in the Hall of Fame yet, but
he will be.
There's a solid case for Dan Reeves, who coached the Broncos and the Falcons. May he also rest in peace. But as Mark said, on to the task at hand. We're going to talk Week 17. We have playoff clinching scenarios, and there's a lot of them, which is really fun for the last 2 weeks of the season. So we'll start in the AFC. The Buffalo Bills get into the playoffs with a win plus a Ravens loss. There's other factors, but that's the simplest way for the Bills. The Cincinnati Bengals, who we will definitely talk about in a minute, because they have what might be the best game of the day. A win today by the Bengals. They win the AFC North. And don't lie to me, nobody had that at the start of the season. The Indianapolis Colts, with a win today, they clinch a playoff berth. The Kansas City Chiefs can clinch the number 1 seed in the AFC with a win plus a Tennessee Titans loss. The New England Patriots can get into the playoffs with a win plus a Dolphins or a Raiders loss. And the Titans, if they win, they are the AFC South champions. On to the NFC. The Green Bay Packers on Sunday night can clinch the 1 seed with a win plus a Cowboys loss. The Los Angeles Rams of St. Louis, with a win plus a Cardinals loss, will win the NFC West. The Philadelphia Eagles can make the playoffs with a win plus a Vikings loss plus a Saints loss. And the 49ers get into the playoffs with a win plus a Saints loss. So those are all of your clinching scenarios for Week 17.
And as I usually wrap it up, if there is no clear winner, we will see Mike jump around the track in the potato sack to determine the next winner.
Well, I mean, I don't remember the last 2 weeks ever being this uncertain in a long time.
Mostly in the AFC, but no, not this uncertain.
The AFC is wide open. I mean, it's insane that how wide open the AFC is, but there's not a clear front run. Like, the Chiefs are really, really good. Excuse me. But everyone in the AFC has some sort of flaw. But I mean, there are some big games also in the AFC we'll talk about. Let's start with the biggest one, which we'll see those Kansas City Chiefs traveling to Cincinnati to play the Bengals. This has fun written all over it. It really should. But this is a game for me for the Bengals even if they lose this game, how do you stack up with the top of the AFC? You've had a great year, and for the first time since 2009, you swept both the Steelers and the Ravens. And we can talk about both those teams in a minute, but this is a big test for Joe Burrow and company.
When you look at this game as a whole, I mean, this is the game of the day. Yes, mind you, they have Dallas, Arizona as the game of the day. It really isn't. This is your game of the day.
It could be the Sunday night game, but that's a whole nother conversation.
That too.
Yes, definitely. I agree now.
You're looking at Joe Burrow coming off of probably one of the best weeks I've ever seen of a quarterback, 525 yards. You got Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Tyler Boyd, and Joe Mixon as your supporting cast. That's top tier right there. Now, what else do you have to do? You got to go in and you got to go beat the friggin' Kansas City Chiefs. They're beatable because their defense is horrible. But if you give Mahomes time and he opens up a 2-score lead on you, that's it. You have to keep pace. If you want to trade touchdown for touchdown all day, fine. But whichever team goes ahead by 1 wins this game.
I would say this. I would not want to do that plan of trade touchdowns with Mahomes.
Well, look, neither would I. I mean, when you look at it today, Clyde Edwards-Helaire is out for the day. So their main running back is gone. Not to say that Darrell Williams isn't anything better. I mean, he'll do fine. But it's going to be a passing game for Mahomes. I look for him to throw 40 to 45 times.
Well, Edwards-Helaire's out, but Travis Kelce's back in. So
right.
I think that's a trade-off the Chiefs will take.
Just maybe.
Patch.
It definitely should be the Sunday night game because now that Kirk Cousins is out, which we'll get to.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. Just, I agree with you. It should be the Sunday night game now, even though I've loved to watch my Packers in prime time. Regardless, it is the game of the week. And we could make a case for the Cowboys game too, but we're talking about this game. It's definitely going to be a shootout today. I definitely see a high scoring game. Maybe could be a 40-40 game, depending on how they want to throw the football around today. But I think this is more of a must-win for Cincy and Joe Burrow. It's a more win for them because we know Kansas City is good. They can, if they lose, okay, they lose. But if Cincy can get this win, it puts Cincy in a case for once playoff time comes around.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I think this is you look at the Bengals and their 9 wins or so, and you go, okay, well, every big test they've had, they really, outside of Baltimore, Pittsburgh, they haven't lived up to it. Cleveland went in there after they got rid of Odell, and they stomped them. They lost in overtime to the Packers, or they lost this game. They need not to equivalent, March Madness, you need a signature win. This would be your signature win if you're the Bengals this year. And the biggest part for me is I would want to you got to keep Mahomes off the field. So this has to be a big Joe Mixon day. That's what I think this has to be.
And over the last few weeks,
I don't say that because I'm playing against Jamar Chase in fantasy, but that's a whole other conversation.
He's been a little lackluster as of lately, so he's due for a big game.
You say that, but he's third in the league in rushing, and I wouldn't have thought that coming in.
No, neither would have I.
There's a big game for Zach Taylor. There's a big game for Joe Burrow. The other side of this Bengal defense, it's not by any means the best defense in the league, but Trey Hendrickson's had a great year coming over from New Orleans. Sam Hubbard has had a good year. But these corners are going to get tested with Tyreek Hill, Pringle, Hardman, Travis Kelce. This is a monster you've never seen.
When it's on line.
This will be a fun one in Cincinnati. All right. Patch alluded to the Sunday night game, so we could go there now. The Minnesota Vikings look to keep their playoff hopes alive when they travel to face Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. Now, let it be known, Kirk Cousins will not play tonight. He tested positive for COVID. He is unvaccinated, so he's out. This just feels Adam Thielen also out. He's out for the rest of the year, but that just feels like the last punch to me for the Vikings. It's a team I had a higher expectation for, but it's a roller coaster. They're good one week, they're bad one week. I hate to say it, it's over, sweetheart. In Minnesota.
I'll let Patch answer first on this.
It's the Green Bay should hopefully win this game, and hopefully a little bit of luck will be on our side and Dallas can lose, because I just want the 1 seed locked up. I want this done, over and done with. I want a bye week for Aaron Rodgers to have a healthy week off in between the last week of the season, the first week of playoffs. Well, for the second week of playoffs, if they get the first seed. Because I feel if the Packers get anything lower than that, it could be a one and done situation, because teams will be hungry to knock the Packers out in the first round if the Packers have to play the first round. But then again, we're talking Aaron Rodgers here. Aaron Rodgers is probably better than last year. Man, it's just on a tear, minus the 1 week debacle against New Orleans. The man hasn't really had a bad game, and he missed another week due to COVID. Other than that, Aaron Rodgers has played phenomenal football. The Green Bay Packers have looked better than ever. Wide receiver core is good. The run game is finally good. Once again, the only thing I dread is the secondary, which is just terrible.
We'll get Jair Alexander back at some point.
At least at one point. Hopefully, we get him back by playoff time. If he plays last week,
they activate him. He might play tonight. I'm not sure of that.
I would say give them limited playing time. Test him out. If he's not doing good, just pull him off the field, rest him, get him ready for playoffs. But I'm excited for tonight's game because there's a lot on the line tonight, because the 1 seed is still up in the air in the NFC. So a must win tonight for the Packers.
This game, really was being built up as the game in the NFC for the week. Mind you, Dallas, Arizona really doesn't matter to me in my mind. Yeah, it's a win-win, but these two teams have history of playing great games. And everybody knows a good divisional matchup can go a long way, unless you're the Washington football team and think you can beat the Cowboys and lose 50, 60, 14. Aaron Rodgers is having Aaron Rodgers type numbers. He is solid. Whatever he chooses to do after this year, I wish him the best. Minnesota, as Patch said, and as Mike said, are without Kirk Cousins, and Sean Mannion is the backup. Unless a miracle happens, and Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, A.J. Dillon, Aaron Jones all have temper tantrums and decide not to play tonight, Green Bay wins this game outright.
And not that I have to state the obvious, but I'm going to do it anyway. Green Bay defensively, just load 8 up in the box and dare Sean Mannion, Oregon State legend Sean Mannion, to beat you. Because I'm not letting Dalvin Cook beat me. So I want to follow up with this on the Vikings, and then we can move on. But I think we're all in agreement that the Packers are going to win this game.
Yes.
I think we all like the Packers.
I do.
That wasn't the given of the day. I think everyone knows Mike Zimmer's on his way out. If you're the Vikings, could this be a final straw on the Kirk Cousins deal too?
How many years does he have left? One?
He signed a new deal. Let me look that up really quickly.
I think he has 1 year left. While Mike's looking that up.
I mean, you can't throw COVID at him for being the final nail in the coffin.
No,
I'm just saying if you're going to get rid of Zimmer, do you get rid of
restructure?
Too?
I'd say you restructure, trade Kirk Cousins, maybe get a high 1, low 2 for him.
I would say keep him and just let Glenn stay out his contract and see if Zimmer does part ways with Minnesota, see what the new coach brings. And see how the dynamic works. Because we look at dynamics, we thought after McCarthy left Green Bay and LaFleur came in, we thought there was going to be a butting of heads between LaFleur and Rodgers, and no, it's actually worked better between the two.
Okay, so
go ahead.
So to answer the question, Cousins has 1 year left, but it's at $35 million. So, but I'll say this because I am a Kirk Cousins guy. I'm a believer in Kirk Cousins, always have been, always will be. And yes, I like that. If you're a team like argument's sake, I'm not saying it's going to happen. If the Steelers were to miss out on Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, and we haven't even heard them in the Deshaun Watson conversation, do you go to a Kirk Cousins or a Matt Ryan and figure that out? We'll talk about the Steelers quarterback situation in a minute because something was said interesting this week. Mark, go ahead.
All right. Like you just said, Kirk Cousins has a $35 million contract for next year. I don't care who you are in the NFL. That's money being paid to Russell Wilson, Dak Prescott. I mean, he is nowhere in that caliber. So it makes more sense for him to stay in Minnesota.
All right. So we'll wait and see what happens in Minnesota tonight. They play the Packers. Their playoff lives are on the line. The Packers can still clinch the one seed with a win and a loss by the Cowboys. Patrick, were you going to say something?
No, I was just going one for the 1 seed.
Oh, okay. With the Cowboys lost to the Cardinals. Cowboys and Cardinals will play this afternoon. That's a big that's a big game for the Cardinals because the Cardinals the last couple of weeks have not been playing well, to put it lightly. Clifford, the big red bird, has not been very good at his job. Kyler struggled. But they got off to that hot start, and everyone was like, oh, man, things are heating up in the desert. I know, ironic, things heating up in a desert. But it just – I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's the injuries, if it's this or that, but something's happened in Arizona. I don't know. I know Hopkins got hurt, but you can't just say all the struggles are because DeAndre Hopkins is not playing.
Well, I'm going to put it to you this way, make it very simple. Look, the Arizona Cardinals, when the season started, broke week 1 with probably one of the best looking football rosters I've seen in a long time, both offensively and defensively. Injuries had played a horrible thing to them, not losing DeAndre. They did make a nice trade in picking up Zach Ertz, which was a help. He's actually had some very big games now. When I mean big games for a tight end, 75 yards is a big game for a tight end. But their job is to move the ball down the field. They're going up against my Dallas Cowboys today in a game that a few weeks ago looked like it was going to be more important than it is. Dallas has already clinched the NFC East and have playoffs. But Dallas stands 1 game behind the Green Bay Packers. So Dallas can't afford to rest anybody, especially with Green Bay playing tonight instead of during the day. So I expect to see the full Dallas Cowboy offense go out there And the same thing, if there is by chance a blowout by the second half, you'll pull everybody and run the second string. If by chance the Green Bay Packers lose tonight, the Dallas Cowboys would then be in the first position going into the final week. The final week being Dallas faces against Philadelphia again, and Dallas is going to want that bye week. I think it comes down to the final week. I don't think Green Bay or Dallas can rest anybody. I see Dallas winning this game by 10, and I see Micah Parsons having 2 to 3 more sacks.
I'll say this: if this does come in the next week, the Eagles are still going to be playing for something. So they can be playing for seeding purposes. So that's the other curveball in there too. So the Eagles are still playing for something as well. Something we never thought we would say.
Right.
But Pat, your thoughts, Cowboys, Cardinals.
It's a must win for both teams for seeding purposes. I think Arizona wants to go out and prove something. That they're, after they started almost undefeated, they started off 8-0, right? Off the top of my head, I can't remember.
10-0.
Yes. Oh, 10-0, my
right.
bad. Okay, 8-0. Oh, 8-0, okay. Hey, sorry, so trying to wake up a little bit here.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
They started 8-0, and then they kind of went on the downside. We could have said, oh, they're just like Pittsburgh last year. There are faults in the team. But no, Arizona bounced back. So Arizona's out to prove something, saying, yes, we started 8-0, then we went on the landslide, but we're still contenders here. Kyler Murray, phenomenal year, could put himself in an MVP candidate conversation with Rodgers and Brady in conversation too. There's other people in that conversation too. Dallas, on their hand, they're out to prove something too. They're out to prove that, we're the best team in football. We want to erase the 90s woes and finally bring that Super Bowl trophy back to Dallas. So I could see this also being another shootout game, like the other game we talked about earlier. So it's a wait and see game.
Sorry, Pat, I didn't mean to cut you.
No, it's on, man. You're good. It's go ahead, Trayvon.
Trayvon will get number 12 today. I guarantee it.
Is that a bet you're willing to take?
Yes.
All right. Call Vegas.
Oh, trust me.
I'm trying to think of how Dan Quinn uses him today, because you're not going to – Hopkins isn't available. So do you put him on an A.J. Green? Do you put him on a Christian Kirk?
You put him on Kirk.
Okay.
You put him on Christian Kirk because Christian Kirk has the speed over A.J. Green. Yeah. You end up putting Jordan Lewis on A.J. Green because Jordan Lewis is the more finesse cornerback.
Okay. So that's an interesting game. I think it's a bigger game for the Cardinals than it is the Cowboys. I know the Cowboys want the 1 seed, but to me, if you're the Cardinals and you still deem yourself a Super Bowl contender, you need this game. You lose this game and the Rams win the NFC West. Speaking of the Rams, they're going to Baltimore. They're playing the Ravens. And has the Lamar thing been confirmed? Is Lamar out again?
95% chance he is out.
Okay. So Lamar, there's a 95% Lamar Jackson out for the Ravens. My thing would be this: if he's out, just shut him down. Just shut him down. You're not even if the Ravens were to get into the playoffs, and there is still actually a chance the Ravens could get in, they would need to win the last 2 and get some help. Just shut them down. And I've apologized every week. I'm going to keep apologizing to the city of Baltimore. I picked you guys to go to the Super Bowl, so I take some responsibility for this. But it's your fault because you make me watch
if Baltimore wins out, like Mike is saying, if Baltimore wins out, they're in. They will not need help because they own the tiebreakers over certain teams. So they must win the next 2 games.
And that comes at a price. They're not but they're not healthy, and that's the issue, and that's why I really deem their season on is the injuries. It started in training camp with Marcus Peters and J.K. Dobbins, and it's continued into the season. So I do feel bad for John Harbaugh and company. Flip side it to the Rams, who, that they have an opportunity. I've said it. They were my Super Bowl pick before the season, but Stafford wasn't good last week. He threw 3 picks in that win against Minnesota. They need good Matthew Stafford. That's what they need. Sony Michel's been good. They're gonna get Cam Akers back at some point, which boggles my mind. Dude tore his Achilles, and he'll be back in 5 months. And then you get the weapons of Cooper Kupp, Odell Beckham, who's eased his way into this offense, Higbee. And then defensively, you've got the best defensive player in the world in Aaron Donald, who you can't block Aaron Donald.
No.
So Rams, Ravens, that was my Super Bowl pick. So we get it week 17. I'm just going to call it the Super Bowl just to say I was right.
All right, we'll give it to you.
Yeah, this game is going to be, I mean, with most likely no Lamar Jackson, I see the Rams blowing this score right out of the water. And I mean, big time, to prove that they belong with teams like the Packers, the Cowboys, the Cardinals. They belong to be there. The Chiefs,
the Bucks.
Yeah. While we're at it, I can just
well
name the rest
Super
of the
Bowl
NFL, but the Rams have looked a little lackluster over the last few weeks, except for Cooper Kupp.
And he is close to breaking the NFL record. And
all the best to him.
We had this conversation. I don't know if it was last week or a couple of weeks ago. Him versus Jonathan Taylor versus Deebo Samuel in the MVP conversation. I mean, it's just insane what Cooper Kupp is doing right now.
It really should come down to him and Jonathan Taylor. That's what it should come down to.
Yeah, and we'll wait and see. There's 2 weeks left to prove it for both of them, but it's a fight till the end. It's a fight to the end in the MVP conversation, the playoff races. All right, let's stay in the AFC because we talked about Bengals Chiefs being the game of the day. The game with there are 2 games with a lot of playoff implications, and we can go through them quickly. The Colts play the Raiders today, and the Colts, when they're in, really just basically eliminating the Raiders. And Carson Wentz was activated off the COVID list yesterday. He should play today, I believe.
Yes, he is set to start.
He is set to start. And the Colts have activated other guys off the COVID. Darius Leonard's playing, so I like the Colts a lot.
I love the Colts in this game.
Broncos play the Chargers in what seems to be an elimination game. The Broncos just put a lot of guys on the COVID list. I haven't trusted Denver all year. Still don't.
Chargers,
I like the Chargers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Especially with
but the
back.
one with the most they'll get Eckler back. But the one that means the most to people, and it's a revenge game for some, and it's a revenge game for others. Because the red-hot Miami Dolphins go into Tennessee to play the Titans. And I don't think there is a guy in football with more to prove these next 2 weeks other than Tua Tagovailoa. I think it's Tua and then everyone else. Because I think if Tua gets the Dolphins into the playoffs, I think he's the quarterback of the Dolphins next year. I do.
Thought he was the
that's just my gut.
Next year from this year.
He's the quarterback next year. He is the quarterback next year for Miami.
Here's the problem, because I think he should be. There's a part of me that goes, if they don't get in, there's 100, unless convicted, they're going to make the Deshaun Watson deal. It's just my gut feeling. I could totally be wrong, but
you should not feel that way because this is what, Tua's second year on the team?
Mm-hmm. Yes. I'm not arguing with you.
I just proved that he should be the quarterback.
This is
Tua brought them back after they started 0-7 and they went on a 7-game 1-7. After starting 1-7, they went on a win streak. Tua woke up, smelt the roses, and brought life back to the Dolphins, which we haven't seen life in Miami in a while.
Right. Look at what Tua's done for Jalen Waddle. 96 receptions, 92 receptions as a rookie. That's unreal. And now you also have to put Jalen Waddle up in that Rookie of the Year contention spot for this. For just
by the way,
this
he'll
year.
break the rookie reception record held by Anquan Bolden at some point.
Right.
These 2 weeks, but I'm not arguing.
Done a fantastic job.
I'm just telling you what the guts tell me.
Yeah, well, the guts tell me too.
I agree. I think Tua's. I'm not arguing that. My problem with this team is they have a lack of weapons. The offensive line stinks. There is no running game. I can play running back. When Duke Johnson's your best running back, we're going to have problems anyway.
I pay to watch that.
Are you kidding? I'm like Mike Allstott, man. That was my guy, Mike Allstott.
Now, I would be the kid from the parody movie that they did about high school with Chris Evans, the kid who gets tackled and separated in half. That's me. That would happen to me. I catch the touchdown, and then I would get separated in half.
All right. So the scenarios in this game, the Dolphins control their own destiny. If they win the last 2 games of the regular season, they're in. If Tennessee wins this game, they win the AFC South. So
I would be scared of the
two former New England assistants in Vrabel and Flores, a Ryan Tannehill revenge game, and because I said this on Wishbone, I'm using reverse psychology to the point where I took the Saints last week, even though Ian Book started. I'm using reverse psychology again, and I took the Titans, and I'm gonna go with it, and I'm gonna be in my mind. I'm playing Jedi mind tricks. That's how I'm rolling with this. But I'll say this: Dolphin defense during this win streak, phenomenal.
Yes,
phenomenal. 17 turnovers forced. Jalen Phillips, who he won't win Defensive Rookie of the Year, but he should get some votes behind Micah Parsons. He's been great.
He'll get recognized, but nobody is getting it over.
No one's touching Parsons. So that's a big game in the AFC playoff picture. Another big game in the AFC playoff picture is Monday Night Football, which sees the Browns and the Steelers, the losers, done. I'm going to word it like that. Speaking of done, Big Ben had interesting comments earlier this week saying that Monday night will most likely be his last game at Heinz Field. I would assume that means Big Ben's retiring after the season, because I don't want to see him play anywhere else. I really don't want to see him play anymore. Not knock. It's just what's going on.
No, and understandably so. You know, I enjoyed watching the guy play over the last decade. You know, he was a damn good quarterback, but everybody has to understand there's a time you have to step away. We all can't play the game for the rest of our lives. You know, his time is over. He's won a Super Bowl. He's done everything that could have been asked of him. He goes down as one of the great quarterbacks coming out of Pittsburgh. Whether he goes into announcing or he works, he becomes a new commissioner of football and allows motorcycles, we'll never know. You know, we'll see what the future brings for good old Big Ben, but hats off to an amazing career, and maybe he'll go become a coach.
Well, you think if he doesn't do that, he'll be a part of the organization in some capacity. you know, like you'll see some legends too. But I've always felt this on Big Ben. I know he won the 2 Super Bowls. I still think he's an underrated quarterback.
Oh, he is,
because I don't think he ever got got enough credit for how good he was. And I think the problem for me was he played in 2 different years. He played in an era where guys like Peyton Manning and Tom Brady reigned supreme, and he was kind of the third guy. And now he gets lost in the shuffle of Lamar and Mahomes in the AFC. So I never felt he got his just due. Also could be because he never won an MVP or stuff like that, but he was a great quarterback on a team that the most consistent team of the last since he's been drafted are the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know, that's the consistency, so if it's retirement, we wish him the best. We'll wait to confirm that till after the season. I want to flip this to Cleveland for a second, then we can get back to Pittsburgh, because I think everyone had high hopes for Cleveland this year.
Oh, yeah.
Now, they're not done and they're not out of it, but Patch and I wrote about this during the preseason was after the Josh Allen extension, what did that mean for Baker Mayfield? And Baker Mayfield hasn't played like a guy I would give $40 million a year to.
But you also have to consider the fact that the guy is ripped and torn up in so many different places. You got to factor that in.
You have to factor
that
in.
The guy is, I do.
Baker's playing with heart right now. Baker is trying to prove himself.
And is it stupid? Is it stupid for him to risk his career right now? You're not going to go for. You're not making the playoffs. Let's just make that easy. Even if you make the playoffs, you're going to get pounded in the first round. Why risk your career here?
Yeah. And my thing has been this on Baker. Why are you having him throw it 40 times? That's not who you are.
No,
just pound Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb.
Whether you have the combination of Chubb and Hunter, Chubb and Ernest
Johnson, and whoever it's going to be.
Run the ball 40 times a game.
That's who you are. That's what made you good last year, is you ran the football and Baker was able to play action. That is what made Cleveland good last year.
Right. And now look at what they have
also,
now.
I do want to say this. They don't have the weapons on the outside.
No.
They got rid of Odell. Jarvis Landry's good, but he's a slot guy.
Right.
Higgins, I don't love, but he's okay. Peoples-Jones has played well. I mean, he's not even in the People's Court anymore.
Njoku's fine.
And Njoku and Hooper are fine, but you need that one guy. You need that game breaker on the outside.
They need a wide receiver, and there's going to be a few in the free agency that they'll have a chance at, and one of them will be out of Dallas, and that being Michael Gallup. I have a feeling Dallas will not tender him a new contract.
Well, I mean, this is a off topic because you brought up Dallas, but I wonder this.
I'm just saying, as
would you rather
breakaway
have
player that they?
I use. Like Gallup, and would you keep Gallup if it meant getting rid of Cooper's $20 million a year?
No.
Okay.
No, Cooper's better.
Those are the little. No, I'm not going to argue that. I like Cooper. I like Gallup. I love CD Lamb. I will not express how much love I have for CD Lamb.
I think that Gallup will leave, and that's where Cleveland's going to get chance, because Dallas has wide receivers in the wings that can take over that spot.
So Gallup's going to gallop his way out of Dallas.
Yeah, unless he has an amazing Super Bowl.
I find it amazing. The Cowboys had a guy named Gallup, and I'm not going there. I'm not going with the whole course cowboy jokes. I'm not going to do it. I'm too professional for it, and I will not do it. I will not tolerate my own behavior.
Do it off air.
I will.
You're being a professional right now.
I'm such a professional.
And I should be back for the rest of the show now.
Take that, Moser.
Be professional, sir.
All right.
Good, sir.
Back to Pittsburgh for a second, because we talked about Ben, and I would assume that means Mike Tomlin's staying. But is the Steelers' window closed, or do we still think it's open?
Depends on who they get to take over as quarterback.
Now here's a destination for Deshaun Watson.
Right, and that's when we haven't heard. We've heard Rodgers brought in. Yeah, I don't know if they would want Russell Wilson. I don't know.
I was about to say maybe Russell Wilson.
I keep bringing in Matt Ryan because Matt Ryan is kind of like what Big Ben is now. But at the same time, Matt Ryan played his college ball at BC, so you're in that Northeast area.
Right, but also Matt Ryan's 36.
Right. So,
you're going to sign a quarterback
for 3 years for Atlanta to blow it up, but
you're asking Pittsburgh to sign a 36-year-old quarterback for what, 2 years, and then you're going to have to get another quarterback.
You're going to have to draft a guy to back him up, but that's a whole nother conversation. But we'll see what Pittsburgh does. We'll see what Cleveland does. That's your Monday night game. But we've been talking quarterbacks, and I want to go to Carolina. And then we'll go to San Francisco, because those are two hot spots right now. Carolina's going to start Sam Darnold again today. And rightfully so. Sam Darnold deserves to start. But this has been a hot potato year between Sam Darnold, Cam Newton, who came back. My question to you guys is, who's the quarterback in Carolina next year?
Sam Darnold.
Ooh, Sam, I am.
I give it to the younger person, because I feel that Cam Newton doesn't fit right in Carolina still. He just needs to go off, be done. If not, you're going to be a backup the rest of your life, kid. You know what? Get the young gun sometime, because I think Sam Darnold can be good in the NFL. He just needs to find the right. I would say he's on the right team. He just needs to find the right team, not team players, players to be around. Because he can be good, because he showed some promise this year, and then it's just the Carolina Panthers have been a debacle all year.
It's funny, because I was a big Sam Darnold fan when he came to the Jets. I thought he was going to be the answer. And then I watched what the Jets did by giving him no help and no protection. And he ultimately failed in New York, and the shoulder injury didn't help. But when he signed with Carolina and they got off to that 3-0 start, mind you, we all knew it wasn't going to last, but it kind of showed the life of him that we wanted to see in the NFL with the Jets. God bless you. And I don't think he ever got to show that chance. Will he have a good day with Carolina today? I mean, he does have McCaffrey. He was doing pretty well with DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson. So I hope he comes out firing on all cylinders and he has a good day.
So I don't think Sam Darnold's the quarterback in Carolina next year. I know they picked up the 5th-year option. I think he's going to be traded. I think that trade is Russell Wilson. And I'm going to keep saying it. The Seattle front office the Carolina front office all came from Seattle. So I just think that makes sense. If you can make it work with Darnold and a first and another pick, make it work. I think Carolina is the second most talented team in the NFC South behind Tampa. Yes, they have more talent than New Orleans, as good as New Orleans is. And I love Mardi Gras and I love the Beats. But the Saints don't have a quarterback either. They can go get Russell Wilson. But Carolina needs to make that next step. and whether that has to start at quarterback, because you're messing around with a team that's really got a lot of talent. McCaffrey, DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, a real talented defense with Brian Burns, Jeremy not by the hair of his chinny chin in there. That's a good team in Carolina. So you do need the quarterback. San Francisco now, this is a whole nother story. This is an opportunity for Trey Lance. Jimmy Garoppolo is doubtful with a thumb injury. It looks like it's Trey Lance's opportunity to take over in San Francisco and show going forward. This is why he was worth the number 3 overall pick.
We're going to see a new look San Francisco team there, being with Trey Lance starting. Jeff Wilson will be the running back. The question is, what are we going to see at Trey Lance? Right now, San Francisco is still fighting for that one of those last 2 wild card spots, and they're in position to do so. But this is a game that can easily go the wrong way if Trey Lance goes out there and starts to overthink what he needs to do and starts making errors. San Francisco can ill-advise a loss today. So I think you play small ball, use a lot of Deebo Samuel in the running game, short, quick passes to Kittle, maybe that rare shot down the field, but I would work the ball short today. That's how if I would San Francisco.
So I'll throw it out, goes back there next year. I don't. I think they'll find a trade or whatever. Trey Lance has an opportunity these next 2 weeks to prove he's the guy. Now, Pat, you should probably close your ears for what I'm about to say. We do know they tried to trade for Aaron Rodgers at the draft. And we know the whole dilemma with Aaron Rodgers and the Packer front office, whether he's there or not next year remains to be seen. They're probably a team that if Aaron Rodgers becomes available, they are going to go, they're going to look at it, and they should. I just wonder about, I think Aaron Rodgers might be the quarterback in San Francisco next year. That's all I'm going to say. But this is an opportunity for Trey Lance to go out and prove why he was the number 3 overall pick. Anything else in San Francisco? Okay. All right. So those are game preview / some quarterback talk. We're going to go on to the 5 now. Top 5 list. I kind of alluded to mine first on the first one, so I'll start. It was the 5 players with the most to prove in the last 2 weeks. One was already said. It was Tua. 2, I'm going Trey Lance because of what we just talked about. 3 is weird because I'm putting Kyler Murray here. And I put Kyler Murray here because Kyler Murray hasn't won anything. And as good as he is, and Kyler Murray's really good, we need to see him. We want to see the stars aligned in the playoffs. The Cardinals were great to start the year. Put it together. They're in. But show us who you are. Are you the team that was 8-0 or are you the team now? Who are you? Number 4 is Zeke. For one word. And I think, Mark, you'd agree with this. Show me you're healthy. Prove to me you're actually healthy. That is my big thing on Zeke. And the last guy's Odell Beckham. Because the Rams are in, and the Rams aren't going anywhere if Odell Beckham isn't good. They need Odell Beckham Jr. to be not Odell Beckham in New York, not Odell Beckham in Cleveland, but to be serviceable. That is what they need in LA if they're going to go anywhere.
Okay. So with my 5 to, most to prove, number 1 for me, it's very obvious, Ezekiel Elliott. has to show he's ready to start carrying a load of 20 to 25 carries a game and 100 yards a game. 2, I was right with Mike. Tua's got to show why the Miami Dolphins belong in the playoffs, and it's going to rest on his shoulders. 3, Sunshine Trevor Lawrence. I think if there's any time for people to not worry about him, it's him to come out and have 2 amazing games. Josh Allen has to step up. I'm sorry. I'm not seeing from him what we saw last year, and I think playing Detroit today will be the game they need to blow it out of the water. Not Detroit, sorry.
Atlanta.
Atlanta is what I meant. And Matt Stafford, I think, needs to show what he was showing in the first few weeks, 300 yards, 4 touchdowns. There is no reason why that team is not putting up 300 yards a game in the air. So for that one, let's move on to question 2, Mike.
All right. I just want to make one quick comment, then we can move on. I'm intrigued by the Trevor Lawrence thing. We didn't talk about the Jags coaching search on this episode. We talked about it on Wishbone. So I'm very interested to see how these last 2 weeks do go for Trevor Lawrence. It's a tough one today going up against a Bill Belichick-led defense.
I think he'll be fine. Since Urban Meyer left, we've seen Trevor Lawrence be Trevor Lawrence.
And since Urban Meyer left, we have not seen him on video at a club, so we know Urban Meyer's doing well as well also.
No, he got smart.
Right, on to
at home in his basement.
Jeez.
That's another one for off air. So 2021 ended. We're in 2022 now. Your 5 major disappointments of 2021, Mark.
Number 1, the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't think you get more disappointed in a team than that. Julio Jones at number 2. Everyone thought he was going to be the messiah to A.J. Brown. Yeah, he was still hasn't resurrected yet. DK Metcalf. It's very hard when you lose your star quarterback for most of the year, and you're just not getting the ball. But DK Metcalf has had a hard year. I'm going to lump them together as number 4, the New York Giants and Jets. The organizations just suck, really suck. And last but not least, the Los Angeles Chargers. I thought they were going to be 13 wins easily this year.
All
right. So that's the Los Angeles Chargers of San Diego, for those of you who don't know. Patch?
I guess I'll start with 5, the Detroit Lions. Just an absolute dumpster fire of an organization. Just can't seem to get it together. I feel so bad for the Lions fans that, year after year, we can constantly make Lions jokes at them. Number 4, you can say the Jaguars, but recently the Jaguars have finally started to wake up since their debacle with Urban Meyer and the atrociousness of hiring him as their coach, because we all knew it wasn't going to work out. Number 3, I would say John Gruden, because, we were looking forward to the Las Vegas Raiders and how the Raiders are going to be a contender. And then the John Gruden incident happened. So I'm disappointed in John Gruden, because it was fun to see life back for the Raiders, and especially in Vegas. So there's that. Number 2, I'll go with the Giants, because we want to see the New York Giants be good again, and they're just an absolute dumpster fire too. And I guess I'll say the Jets as well. I'll go with Mark there with that. They'll be my 2 and 1. But the Jets have shown life the last few weeks. The Jets are showing life, and the Jets might actually show that, hey, we can be the better New York football team than the Giants. So there's that.
Okay, for me at 5, I got the Washington football team, and I love Ron Rivera. I know they've had a lot of injuries, but they've the most fight they've showed all year was on the sideline last week. That was the most fight I've seen in Washington all year. 4, I know he's hurt, Baker. Mainly because I put him higher, but I moved him down because I did weigh the injury. But we had a high expectation in Cleveland. So I can't not penalize him, even though I do penalize the whole team, outside of Myles Garrett. Number 3 is the New York Giants. They're a dumpster fire. At least with the Jets, everyone knew they were rebuilding. With the Giants, they're hard to watch. They're abysmal to watch. They're not fun. They're not creative. They are the most boring team in the NFL, and that's saying something with how Detroit and Houston have played. Number 2, and this one is kind of on the fence. I'm just disappointed with a lot of the way the rookie quarterbacks have played. They've had moments, but they haven't put it all together yet. We're still waiting for that massive moment from most of them. And my biggest disappointment's the Vikings. With Thielen, Jefferson, and Dalvin Cook, this team should have walked on into the playoffs, and they're going to miss again, and Mike Zimmer's going to get canned, and other things can happen. But I'm just disappointed in the Vikings because year after year I fall into their trap of, we're really talented. Yeah, we're really talented, but we're gonna stick it to everyone who believes in us. So I'm not falling for your shenanigans anymore, Minnesota. I won't pick you. I'll pick you at some point, but the Vikings. Honorable mention, the Saints quarterback situation. I know Jameis got hurt and he was playing pretty well. That's not good right now. And Seattle as a whole. I know Mark had brought up DK. I'm bringing up the whole team. Seattle I thought Seattle was a playoff team coming in. They haven't played like it. This is probably the end of the Pete Carroll, Russell Wilson era. So Seattle would also make mine. Okay, so the last for the 5, it's New Year's. Everyone makes resolutions to either get in good shape or to say they want to be like Mike Rifkin. I don't know. But you guys, your 5 resolutions for the NFL.
Patsy, you going to take this one first?
I'll go first. 1,
Sure.
I want the Giants to be good again. Number 2, I want the Jets to be good again. I want both of them to get their heads out of their asses and do something as a football organization.
So you want to make football great again in New York?
I want to make football. No, football's already great again in New York. We got the Bills. The Bills are the New York football team.
That's true.
You know what? The Jets and Giants smell like the garbage in Jersey. We can make that joke because they played East Rutherford, New Jersey. It's New Jersey. Who likes to play football in New Jersey? Nobody. Number 3, I want to see life back in Detroit. Because you know what? These 3 football teams are a dumpster fire. You put all 3 together, we might as well just put them in the CFL for all we care. Because no one will remember them. And no offense to the CFL. I like watching Canadian football. Number 4, I want the Packers to wake up and smell the roses and keep Aaron Rodgers. Don't let the man walk. You know what? Finally, take your heads out of your asses and say, you know what? This is your foot. Don't let it be another Brett Favre situation where we play hunky-dory 3 years down the road and we retire your number. And number 5, I want fun back again in football. Football is fun, but you know what? Let's get rid of the nonsense, excessive celebration penalties. Let's let the teams have fun. As we have fun in football, everybody has fun. Those are my 5.
We're having fun right now.
Oh,
we are having fun right now.
Okay, number 1, Dallas locks up Dan Quinn squashing any rumors that he's going to be going somewhere to head coach. And with the promise at the end of that tenure, he becomes the head coach in Dallas. 2, the New York Giants trade for Russell Wilson and let go of Daniel Jones and the rest of the offense. And they start fresh with Russell Wilson. 3, Tom Brady finally retires. This would be my feel-good story of the year. 4, Mike will like this one. Miami finally says, we're missing a run game, and goes out and gets some running backs. And last but not least, Patchy, I know, will smile. The Green Bay Packers put their sides and differences away and sign Aaron Rodgers to finish out his career in Green Bay.
For me, 5, Pittsburgh. It's okay to rebuild. It is okay, Pittsburgh. Ben's going to retire after the season. You're going to do what you got to do to Mike Tomlin. This team's not better than Cincy, Baltimore, Cleveland the next 2 years. I don't believe so. So it's okay to rebuild. 4, this is to the league. I'm done with all your nonsensical roughing the passers. I get the knees, I get the head. Everywhere else should be okay to hit the quarterback. Make it reviewable. I don't care. I'm done with roughing the passer. 3, Washington. Pick a name already. I'm tired of the Washington football team. I'm going to call you the Washington Sentinels from now until you get a name. 2, back to the NFL. Release the findings into the investigation of the Washington football team. There's a thing called karma, Roger Goodell, and I am watching you. And I know you're listening to this because I texted you earlier, Raj. Number 1, make pass interference 15 yards again. I'm done with the spot because now these quarterbacks could underthrow a ball. The receiver leans in and it's a spot foul, even though the ball's underthrown. 15 yards, allow the defenders to actually play defense.
Yeah.
And let's roll. There's too many flags in the NFL nowadays. It's not fun. It's not pretty, and the zebras have too much control.
I'll add to that.
So my goal for 2022 is to not have zebras in control.
I'll go with the theory that if the receiver catches the ball but somehow drops it, then it gets pegged, they get charged for the INT, not the quarterback, because that was on the wide receiver that you couldn't catch the football. If the quarterback overthrows it or underthrows it, and it's picked off,
make that a stat. I'm good with it. Make that a stat too. All right. Everyone, enjoy week 17 of NFL action. For Mark Halpern, President Lawrence Patchman Lang, I'm Mike Griff. You've been listening to SIN Sunday Sideline Report. Check out all the podcasts at anchor.com and wherever you get your podcasts. Check out the website, www.thesportsinsanitynetwork.com. Check out blogs and all of our content. We got some cool stuff coming. Enjoy your Sunday. Happy New Year and namaste.
Namaste.